What's going on, guys? I got my TR50 Gen 1 and my TR50 Gen 2. This one has an 11 Joule valve. Valve block has been removed and it is fully open. Obviously you can't see that because I have this in here. And then I have my Gen 2 7.5 Joule version. Valve block's been removed and there's no restrictor in the handle. So this is fully open and this one's fully open. I've done this test maybe 8 months ago. I bought some of these Gen 2 TR50s for my brothers and I gave them away as gifts for Christmas. So this is fully open. When I used those TR50s, I noticed that the Gen 2s were had slightly lower power. Not like a lot, maybe like 1 or 2 joules difference. With the power kit, with the restrictor in the handle fully open and no valve block, they had a little bit lower power, these, by like 1 joule. So I think when I threw them on air tanks, it's been a while since I've looked at those videos or anything, but when I threw them on air tanks, this one still performed a little bit better than the Gen 2 with 0 restrictors, and this one was 0 restrictors. So the difference between these right now is this has the 11 joule valve, and in my previous videos this had the normal 7.5 joule valve. The reason I changed it out is because this had the recall notice on it. So this is essentially the same way it was in the previous video, except it has a different valve in here, and I don't know if that'll add anything to it because it's the same thing. I have the stock barrel, stock firing pin, stock everything else, and this is fully open like I said earlier. So I'm going to see what they do. I'm going to use this 800 psi output HPA tank, probably the MCS tank adapter, and I'm going to use alien play balls. I'm going to use the same drum for both launchers. So this is the drum I've been using mostly for my TR50 Gen 1. This already has the alien plays in it, and I'll show you. So yeah, I'm going to use the same drums so that they have the same openings, like, because if you put fresh ammo and brand new drums, or if you put ammo and brand new drums, they're kind of tight, but this drum has been worn in pretty good, so these alien plays come in and out of this really easily, so there won't be any sort of discrepancy of oh, that the drum you used in this one was too tight, because I'm going to use the same drum for the aluminums. This TR50 Gen 2, this drum is like essentially brand new. I've only put the 12.3 millimeter steel balls through this one, and I'm going to use this same drum with these same ammos in both of the launchers, so the drum tightness won't be an issue because I'm using the same drum on both, and each drum is using its own type of ammo. So the Gen 1 is going to use the alien play aluminum balls, 2.7 grams. They're like 12.5 millimeters. These steel balls do not fit my drums very well in the old Gen 1 because they're slightly stretched out. They fit decently in the Gen 2 drum. So I'm just going to separate them, put them to the side. I'm only using that drum for those, and I'm only using this drum for the aluminums. So I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, this tank is pretty much freshly topped off. It's at 3,000 psi. The capacity, which is for that. I'm going to air up this TR50 and I'll be right back. I'm using the Gen 1 first. Alright, you guys, got the Gen 1 TR50. I'm going to use the Gen 2 after this. I don't think it matters, but it is about 80 degrees Fahrenheit out here. I don't think it would matter because I'm using HPA. I'm not using CO2. And I have it all connected to the hose and stuff. These are 2.7 gram alien plays. I'm going to use the same drum in the TR50 Gen 2. So first shot, 452. This is an 800 psi output tank. 454, and this TR50 is fully open, and so is the Gen 2 on the table. 456. 456. 458. 458. So started at 452, I believe. Ended at 458. I'm gonna get the Gen 2. I'm gonna get those balls out of there. I'm gonna use the same drum. Probably gonna use the same aluminum balls, and I'm gonna connect it all to this guy right here. Alright, you guys, I got the Gen 2. I have the same drum that I just used in the Gen 1. I have the air tank. It's pressurized. The tank still has like 2800 psi left in it. 800 psi output. Same exact aluminum balls. I took them out of the box, put them in the same drum. So this should technically kind of hit the same, but I'll see if there's a speed discrepancy. So I think 452 was the lowest the Gen 1 got, and 458 was the highest the Gen 1 got. 452, 450, 448, 450. So it's very similar. It's not a huge difference. 450, 450. I think the biggest difference I had is when I used Devastators. For some reason, the Devastators and my brother's T4Es, TR50 Gen 2s, the Devastators, they kind of like dislodged the barrel. It may have been because it was like so new, and I had the biggest discrepancy in speeds when I was using 12 gram CO2 with the restrictor in the handle. I don't know why. It's just that happened. I couldn't keep testing it over and over because, you know, I was giving them away as gifts and I didn't want to put too much wear and tear on something that's not mine. I was just kind of verifying that they worked correctly, and they did. I saw a tiny bit of a speed difference between the two. So I'm gonna put the steel balls and the same drum, which is essentially like a brand new drum. I haven't put anything in here aside from the steel balls. I'm gonna put those in here, shoot it, and then put them in there and shoot it. All right, you guys, I got the pretty new drum, which has never had anything else put in it besides 12.3 millimeter steel balls. You probably don't want to use 12.7 millimeter steel balls, like the 1/2 inch slingshot ammo. In a lot of videos I've tried using them and they dislodge the barrel. The spring just has too much pressure on it and it becomes dislodged, and then you have to kind of open up your TR50 and fix the spring on the barrel, because there's a spring on the barrel right here. So this is the 7.6 gram 12.3 millimeter steel balls. This is the Gen 2 TR50. 294. This launcher has been sitting for like a minute or two because I was clearing out the box and stuff, so I'll see if this next shot's super high or if it's low. 284. 284. 280. I think I got two more shots. 290. 290. So that's pretty good. I used to see a guy on Amazon selling 12.5 millimeter steel balls. I believe those are 8 grams. After a while, the guy did not have them available anymore, and then I kept checking and he never had them available again. So I took them off my watch list, but if I ever see them again, I'll probably buy them. So I'm going to put the same drum and the 12.3 7.6 gram balls in my Gen 1 and shoot it. Alright, you guys, final 6 shots. This is the Gen 1 TR50, the 11 Joule valve. It's fully open. There's no valve block, there's no restrictor. It's the same exact setup as the TR50 Gen 2. The alien plays, there wasn't much of a difference. There was like a, I don't know, 4 FPS difference between the two, and the TR50 Gen 1 was a little bit higher. So I'll see what these do. These are the 7.6 gram 12.3 millimeter steel balls. 294, 294, 292, 290, 292, 296. That is it. So yeah, it's pretty much the same, or like neck and neck at least. If anything, this had like maybe with those steel balls like a 2 FPS gain, and with the Alien Plays like a 4 to 6 FPS gain for the Gen 1. But I mean, if I shot these tomorrow, they could perform differently. And then if I had like 10 Gen 2s and 10 Gen 1s, all of them will not perform the same. They're just, you know, they're air guns, so there's just tiny differences in tolerances and how good your seals are, how oiled up everything is. Like, a lot of little factors play into how hard something hits on any given day. So I just released all the pressure with my check valve on the remote line, and I think that'll do it for this one. So I didn't really see a big difference in speeds. I don't have a restrictor for this. The restrictors I have are all threaded. This one needs a push-in restrictor. I've already tried putting the threaded restrictor in here, and it just spins around. I haven't tried puncturing a CO2 in it, but I feel like I'll just waste it. Because yeah, you need if you're using a 12 gram, you need these to have a restrictor in them, especially after you modify it, because they'll just shoot all the air out on the first shot. I don't have a 13 joule one. I have seen one video of a guy, I think the ZRAM channel, they showed him, or whatever, whoever that person is, they showed them taking the restrictor out of the 13 joule one, and it shot and it didn't fart, but they weren't using a chronograph. So I don't know how hard those shots were hitting. I've seen another guy, he took his restrictor out of his orange 13 joule one, his orange colored one, and it shot all the air out like on the first shot. So, and it wasn't any stronger than the one which I forgot what he did, but in the test he did, he shot one without a restrictor in it, and it just farted all the air out using a 12 gram. And it was a 13 joule one that was orange color. It's obviously a 13 joule TR50. So I don't know. I haven't, since I don't have one and I can't use it that way, 13 joules with no restrictor, I'm not going to buy a third one just to try this. There's no way of me to verify that. So yeah, for this video with this 800 psi output tank, no difference. If anything, this had just a slight increase in speed, like 2 to 4 FPS with these ammos, and like 2 with these ammos. So that's it for this one. I'll keep shooting these. I'm going to try the Devastators in a different video. When I use my brothers with the Devastators, they dislodge the barrel kind of. So I'll see if that happens to mine. Anyways, have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. I always forget to show this. So that was 24 shots. That was 2 magazines with each, and that burned through about 1,000 psi on this big tank. So that's a lot of air for 24 shots. Typically with the normal paintball marker under normal use and stuff, you can probably expect to get 600 shots at least out of one of these things, not like 40. So that's it. Have a good one. See you next time.